So if you're like me, you have tons of ideas for side projects, products, and services, and you're excited to share them with the world. There's only one problem. You have no budget, and you're not really sure where to start because there's so many ways that you could get your message out there. It's just super overwhelming if you're new. But what I'm going to show you today is a framework so you can make smarter, data-driven decisions to inform your marketing and pick the right way to help you make sure that people love your product, that it has potential to grow and find other customers like them, and that you can eventually scale it up into a real business. Let's go figure it out. Hey guys, my name's Matt Woods, and if you haven't met me yet, I'm a developer marketer working to be one of the best people in the world that does interactive marketing that people actually love to use. And so I started this show Overlap to every week help marketers learn to code and help developers learn to market their side projects better. Before we start off and really get rolling, let's take a look at the roadmap for how we're going to find that great channel to market on a shoestring budget. We're going to want to start by finding our goal and figuring out whether we're trying to identify a great fit or we're in a growth stage. Then we're going to make sure we can brainstorm and explore all the possible ways that we could market that idea. Then we want to find out how we can narrow it down to find the right solutions to test and actually test it using experiments and getting data. And then finally, we're going to see how we can focus on what's working and actually execute so that we can start getting results, getting customers, getting feedback, and make a better product that actually turns into a real business. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you're solving a morphine level pain, not a baby aspirin pain. So here's what I mean by that. People only pay money for a few things really. If you are solving a huge pain by saving them a lot of money, saving them a lot of time, or making them happier in some way, entertaining them maybe. If you're not doing any of those things, solving a pain, something that really stresses people out, that would keep them up late at night, that would cause them to be wringing their hands over their checkbook every weekend, they're probably not going to pay for it or keep using it in the long term. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that it's not a, that sounds slightly interesting, like, oh, socks for dogs, I hadn't heard of that before. I'll check it out and then not buy from you. But something that's really interesting, like, oh, you can half my business expenses. You can shave 4 hours off of my workday if I use your tool over someone else's. That's a little bit extreme, but you get my point that that's a morphine level pain, not a baby aspirin pain. The other thing you want to keep in mind is to avoid waiting to talk to customers. Ideally, you should spend 50% of your time creating your thing, building your business, working on your app, whatever that is, and 50% of your time actually talking to customers and getting feedback. What you don't want is sort of the field of dreams model where, oh, build it and they will come, and you wait to talk to customers until after your product or service or business is already built. Don't wait until you've printed all the business cards and done this whole business or finished your app and spent months and months working on it before you talk to a single customer. You want to flip that and be always learning and building and learning, and just keep rotating through so that you're building for your customers in mind. Whether that's you're building an advertising agency or you're building an app that helps dog walkers manage their rates or something like that. It doesn't matter because you have to keep your customers in mind first. Every business is really going to go through 3 stages of growth goals and traction goals. At first, when you're just starting out, before you have a lot of customers, you want to make sure that you have traction, that you think that you're solving a morphine level pain, but how do you know for sure? You want to double check that by checking things like app downloads and are they really using it? Or am I getting people that are sticking around and wanting to buy from me again or stay with me for a long time? Then you're going to want to have goals that are really tracking your growth. So are we finding new customers? Do we have a channel, whether that's online or offline, that we're getting new customers in the door, getting new customers to our website, and getting them to actually buy from us? And then lastly, we have scale numbers that we're going to want to look at, which is, okay, we have a business, it's going, we know how to find new customers. How can we take what's working right now and scale it by 10x so that we can really grow for the future? So whether you're in a just starting up and figuring out the product fit, whether you're growing and finding new customers, or you're in a scale stage, you want to make sure that you're setting goals and tracking the right numbers. Now, the way you don't want to do this is having a very vague, unhelpful goal that you can't really measure and track. Say something like, get more customers. That's not a very helpful goal because I can't tell if I succeeded or if I failed or what happened. Now, what you do want is to set a SMART goal, something that's specific, measurable, relevant, timely, and you can actually attain and succeed on. So something like get 30 free trial signups by January 31st could be very helpful, because I can definitely tell on January 31st, yes, did I succeed, did I not? And I have a clear number I'm tracking. I can tell, oh, I got 15 signups last month and 30 this month, so we're on the right track. I can tell it's working. So now that we have our SMART goals set, we need to see what's possible in the realm of marketing to find those new customers, to validate our idea, or to scale our business. So we're gonna enter our brainstorming phase. One of the things I love to look at is this thing called the bullseye framework. Now this was invented by the founder of DuckDuckGo, Gabriel Weinberg, I think it is, but he separated out into about 17-ish categories of all the different ways you could find more customers and market your business. Everything from offline events to search engine marketing to sales calls, just picking up the phone and calling people. It's all there in some form. So if you just want a blank slate where you can see everything laid out, this is a great place to start. Once you have them all laid out and you can see everything at a glance, it's time to start ranking and prioritizing. You can usually do this by putting things in one of three buckets, the channels you're looking at. You have your highest priority channels. These are the ones that are most likely to succeed. You think they have the best chance, and so the best 3 to 5 you can stick up there. The middle channels are ones that may succeed, may not succeed, but it's worth considering and kind of having on the back burner. And then you have your least likely long shot ones that are probably not going to succeed and are the last ones that you should really look at, because they aren't a good fit for the types of customers you're going after, or it just doesn't make sense for your industry or product. So now that you have your top few picks, it's time to start testing them. Now, instead of doing what most people do, which is just grabbing your ideas and just picking the ones that you like, or just guessing, and then dumping all your time and resources into pursuing those, we're going to use smarter data-driven decision making. All that means is let's set up short experiments that we can use to tell us if we're on the right track or not. So if we look into that top category of ideas, we have a few different ones, and we want to really narrow it down to the top 2 or 3 that we can actually run experiments on. So let's say that's Facebook ads, guest blogging, maybe speaking events to try and find people to sign up for our new dog walking app. Sure, why not? We want to go ahead and set up experiments so that we can test all those, ideally at the same time in parallel. So if we can run Facebook ads, do a speaking event every week, and write a guest blog post every week, and then count the number of people that start using our app and start a free trial after we do that. So if we're doing that, we can maybe see at the end that we got 3 times as many with the same amount of time and resources from Facebook ads as anything else. What that tells us is, based on the data, the best place right now for where our app is finding new customers on Facebook ads. So we should double down on Facebook ads and keep finding more customers from that channel. You can kind of think of it like drilling for oil, right? You test a little bit here, you test a little bit there, and once you kind of strike that rich vein of oil, you just want to milk it for everything it's got, because you found that there's a lot of potential there. So that's pretty much an overview of the bullseye framework and how you can see all your options for growing your business, narrow it down, and test them to pick the right one using data. Now, there are a few dangerous questions and things that you have to keep in mind while you're going through this process to make sure you don't run into any pitfalls. One of the first ones you need to look at is keeping in mind, how much does it cost to acquire a new customer? Your customer acquisition cost. If you're not keeping track of this, you can really run into some issues because you'll overspend on acquiring a customer. If, say, you only make $5 off each customer, you can't be spending $3, $4, $5, and definitely not $6, $7, or $8 to get a new customer. Because you can either make so little money that it's not worth it, or you can end up losing money if you're not keeping track of it. It's also critical to keep your customer's lifetime value in mind. So let's say we're signing up for a dog walking service, and maybe the first month it's only $25, but we know that we typically keep customers for at least a year and a half. That's several $100s in your lifetime value of your customer. So you know that you can spend a little bit more money getting customers to actually try your service and start it, because on average, you're going to make, $300, $400, $500 from them over the long term. So if you don't know how long you're retaining your customers for, make sure you're tracking that as you go so you can make more informed decisions about how much marketing to spend. Another thing you have to keep in mind is the total number of customers available in your marketing channel. So if I'm trying to reach professional clowns from Nebraska on Facebook, it's probably a pretty limited pool of people available. Maybe there's only 2,000 professional clowns from Nebraska. And if I'm trying to reach those people, that might work super, super well to reach those first 2,000 people, but then it's tapped out. It's totally empty. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel. There's no more professional clowns coming up. It's a dying industry. So sad. And you just can't find more people there, which means you're gonna have to find another channel by doing some more experiments, going back to the drawing board, and finding where else can I find those professional clowns from Nebraska. Then, of course, you also have to keep in mind, am I finding the right type of customers? So for example, maybe the people you get from Google are just not the best customers, and you're getting a lot of them, you're ranking really well, it's going swimmingly, but they just cause more headaches, they complain more, they pay less than the people that you find at in-person events. Just maybe that's the industry you're in. If that's true, keep that in mind as you document your experiments, and just keep track of your users as they go through and start using your product or service. Keep in mind, where'd you get them from? How are they interacting? Are they upgrading or not? And just track that over the long term. I'm gonna redo that again really quick. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is, are you attracting the right types of customers? If you're getting people from events and lots of people are signing up and it's going super well, but they just complain more, they pay less, and they cause you more headaches, it's probably not the best marketing channel because the customers aren't the right customers. Keep in mind that marketing fit, document where you're getting your people from when they sign up with you or when they leave, and make your marketing decisions accordingly. So as you're doubling down on your winners and you find that one channel that's just bringing in customers, it's bringing in new contacts that want to do business with you or try your app and make you money and do all that good stuff, over time that channel may become less and less and less effective. It just happens. Whether it's because people's behavior is changing or you're just kind of tapping out and you've reached all the people you're going to reach on that channel and you've hit kind of your ceiling, you need to be tracking that number. And over time, if you bring in 1,000 new signups year one, and then only 500 year two, and then only 250, that's a good sign as it's going down that you need to go back to the drawing board, do more research, pick your buckets, run your tests, and try again with some other channels. Whether it's by tweaking stuff that's very similar, or trying something totally new, go back to that data and make more data-driven decisions instead of guessing. Well, that's about it. Let's take a look at what we learned. We learned how to set a traction goal, find the one number that we can measure to really move the needle on our business growth. We learned how to brainstorm using the bullseye framework and see all the channels that are possible and how to break them up into likely, long shot, and in between buckets. We learned how to rank and prioritize to find the 2 or 3 things we should really be testing, and how to set up data-driven experiments to make smarter decisions without guessing. Then we also learned how to focus on what's working, how to double down and go back to the drawing board when the well runs dry on that particular marketing channel. I hope you guys learned a ton. My name is Matt with Overlap, and if you haven't yet, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to overlapshow.com to find more. It's a weekly show where I'm helping marketers learn how to code and helping developers learn how to market their side projects and grow with some really smart business ideas. And a lot of stuff on the intersection in between, things like chatbots and marketing automation, and how to create interactive tools that people will actually love. All right, I think that's about it for now. Happy marketing, guys.